had this dream when I started a company that I could provide the kind of employment for people that I would have dreamed of having, where I can travel everywhere and only work on the fun stuff. And then I started seeing the AI agents and I said, it's going to like squash my dream of being this company that helps people thrive. And actually for a month or so, I was in a ball and talking to my coach all the time and saying, I can't get myself motivated to work at Chili Piper anymore because I'm seeing that I'm working against my dreams and that doesn't feel right for me.
Keep building podcasts with Matt Cressman. Building authority, LinkedIn's my strategy. I be overseas, closing deals with ease. Network growth's the key. You can only be you, can't replicate my view. Scale your revenue, pipeline breaking through. Success is all I see. Keep building, go. Keep building.
What's up, everybody? Hey, Matt Kretzman here back. We're talking all things AI. I've got my good friend Alina here from Chili Piper, and we've seen each other over the years at SaaS Talk. SaaS Talk's been a fun place. If you've never been to SaaS Talk, you're watching this, I highly recommend you need to reach out. If you're in B2B SaaS, you're serious about leveling up your relationships, your knowledge, and all those good things. They don't pay me. I just do this because I'm a big fan. Highly recommend you check it out. But I gotta say, on LinkedIn, there are a few people that I love following because their content is educational, inspiring, also very entertaining. And I've got to say, Alina, you've done a great job of checking all those boxes. It's been really fun to follow you on LinkedIn. So I can only, if that's a glimpse of what's happening in Alina's world, I can only imagine the real thing about what's really happening. So it must be a lot of fun.
My life is a little bit of a book story every day, but I'm also very grateful for SaaS Talk for kind of giving me so many friends and opportunities to meet so many people and network and learn. I don't know what I would do without those in-person connections. I learn a lot more when I'm with people with camera off than with on, because people with the camera on they're so guarded. So very grateful that Alex is putting on that conference.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the one that I feel like we really connected at that Austin one, and that dinner conversation. I mentioned I was chatting with Keith over at PandaDoc. I thought that dinner conversation was magical. And you did a great job of just like curating the conversation among everybody. It was fun for you to be like, okay, hold on, here's what's going to happen. We're going to talk about this in this order. And it just flowed. And it was so much fun. So I can see that side of you that like runs and manages people and teams, because you did that really well.
I take the role of a boss, even though I'm nobody's boss anywhere.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Nathan, I'm sure, is like, hey, wait a second. This is my table. What are you doing? Hold on. Time out. I know. Yeah, it was so funny. But, Chili Piper's it's been awesome to see you guys rise. Chili Piper's a beast in the market. Just take a second and frame it up for people. What is Chili Piper? Why does it matter? What'd you build it for and for whom?
When I started this company, Chili Piper, in 2016, I started this with my husband. I was also my co-founder, and he kept insisting that we should start something together. We decided to sell our house and everything just to take a big bet on ourselves. Frankly, I didn't know what we were going to do. Like everybody says, I had this big dream to optimizing a buyer journey for SaaS, B2B.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Nobody dreams that. But what I felt really, really compelled of doing was to see what kind of improvements I can make for salespeople that take their soul away, like the soul crushing tasks for them, because I've been in sales and I know that what salespeople are really good at is having the conversations with their customers and helping them transform. And those are always very difficult. Like conversation is very difficult. Like, why do they have to do other stuff? So we started looking at all sorts of improvements in the inbound funnel and conversion rates. And the use case that we started with is like when somebody came on your website and wanted to talk to sales, they would get the thank you, somebody will contact you soon. The salesperson had to do the investigation, see if they're qualified, call them, do additional qualification, etc., which makes absolutely no sense, because that's how you lose 50% of your pipeline wasted. So we created at that time a JavaScript in the form that qualifies instantly and like puts them in touch with sales if they should have a conversation with sales with the right rep in the right region, segment, blah, blah, blah. And now we've improved a lot more around those qualification conversion data points across all the possible funnel touch points. And it's a lot of fun to keep squashing like the things that block the buyer from buying, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I think we could riff on this like a lot because I'm very passionate about that, naturally being a marketer, and I'm very, emerging tech. I think both of us like early adopters of tech, even if it's not like perfect yet. Like I'm always the guy that's like trying new things out and people are
I
like,
see
wait,
that you have a lot of tools that you're using. Me too.
I know. Whenever I give like, I've got this one big training that I redid. I redid the whole presentation this year and it's like 72 slides. And at the end, people are always screaming, "Hey, Matt, so you threw a lot of tools at us. Are you going to give us a list? Because we need to go through like one at a time. There's a lot of tools here." But for those that know, like you looked at the market and you were like, what tool is missing? Like there's a tool missing because there's an obvious problem. So please, if you're watching this and you have a contact us form on your website, number one, forget about it. Like you should throw that thing away because that's like the equivalent of like direct mail. Hey, do you want to book a demo? Like send us a letter. Like nobody does that anymore. So in the era of AI, like it should be conversational, right? It should be conversational. People want it now. We got a microwave. Why are you putting it in an oven? Like just microwave the thing. Like that's the instant society we live in. So, but I'm curious, like of all the things that you could have built, like why did you, like what drew you, like did you have other things that you were like, man, that's a big problem. I could solve that, or I could solve this. Like, why did you choose that thing to build?
Because I come from a very poor background. My parents were factory workers. My first order of business was making sure that our company makes money because we were bootstrapped at the beginning. And whatever I was doing had to have big ROI to know that people would shell money upfront, like yearly contracts, so that I can pay my employees' salary. So I just focused on business viable use cases. And I knew that was like huge ROI. And I could prove it immediately. They would spend, I don't know, 10K with us. And then their pipeline doubled. So they would get from 3 million to 6 million. Like, who's going to deny that 10K budget for this kind of transformation? So I always go after big ROI use case, and that was a winner.
Yeah, that's good. That's smart. Yeah. Awesome. No, it's so if you're building, a SaaS company, or, you're thinking about it, it could be like, idea phase right now, or you could be growing and building. What I hear from you, Alina, is like, hey, think about how can you get as close to unlocking value as you possibly can. Hey, so I hope you've enjoyed watching this YouTube video so far, listening to this podcast episode. I want you more than anything to understand that my goal is to help you build better relationships by starting the right conversations. When I figured out LinkedIn in 2019 for what it truly is and really learned how to use it to my advantage, my life completely changed. Not only personally, but professionally, my business. I was able to launch a very successful company. And over the years, it is amazing just to watch how all of the relationships that I've developed through LinkedIn have taken me places and opened doors of opportunity that I never thought would be possible. And so for that reason, I wrote the book, The LinkedIn Advantage. I want to put a copy in your hands. Okay. In this, you're going to find about 200 pages of some of my best secret strategies, tactics, tools that I use, processes for how I connect with intentionality and keep a very full pipeline of the right opportunities and conversations with the right people. I believe your pipeline, your sales pipeline that is, should be your lifeline, because we all don't know what's going to happen to us right around the corner, or we may enter into a season to where we need support from people in our pipeline or in our lives. And so for that reason, I believe in connecting with intentionality, and the LinkedIn Advantage is really my attempt at sharing everything that I've learned over the years with people like you that care about putting the right people in your life and starting meaningful conversations that lead to revenue growth, relationship growth, and everything in between. So go ahead and click the link in the video. You'll probably find it down in the description somewhere, and go ahead and grab a copy. I want you to get it in your hands. It's really going to change your life if you put into practice the things that I teach in this book. But back to the episode. I hope you enjoy the rest of it. And if your product solves, like that's a giant, you go from 3 to 6 million, like 10,000 for, if that's what an annual deal looks like, it's a no-brainer. It's a complete
no-brainer. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
That's why we grew so fast. Yes.
Yeah, brilliant. I love that. So, okay, so that's Chili Piper. And so I wanted to talk about like AI agents, right? I know you gave that talk at SaaS Talk, and it kind of, I don't know, I want to hear you on this. I have mixed emotions, right? Like AI it's so helpful. It's so useful. I'm able to do things that I've never done before. You have that side of it. It's a double-edged sword. Like, people are being displaced, right? Like, a number of people. And when I saw your talk on the SaaS Talk track, I was like, wait, you let go of how many people? You know, like how I, fired all these and did it with like 2 employees in your marketing team. How are you thinking about that? And like, and that specifically, like, what did you do with AI and how has it made you more efficient? Just unpack that a little bit.
It's a topic that's extremely painful for some and extremely exciting for some others. In my case, I'm probably in the middle somewhere, more towards
Yeah.
the excitement than on terrified. On the terrified front, had this dream that I started when I started a company that I could provide the kind of employment for people that I would have dreamed of having, where you can travel everywhere and only work on the fun stuff and the boring stuff somebody else works on them, and you can have like a big impact on the organization and you can like touch different things. So I was hoping to kind of offer an employment for this kind of employee and was imagining that we're going to have like thousands of employees and it's going to be so much fun to solve that puzzle. And then I started seeing AI agents and I said, fuck, this is going to like squash my dream of being this company of that helps people thrive. And actually for a month or so, I was in a ball and talking to my coach all the time and saying, I can't get myself motivated to work at Chili Piper anymore because I'm seeing that I'm working against my dreams and that doesn't feel right for me. And then I realized that everybody's working on this. Like everybody's going to replace it. It's just not just me, everybody else. And it's my chance to see how we can completely rethink how we're organized, how we're organizing organizations, how people work. And I keep wearing at every conference that I go these phoenix kind of boots because I think that we're all kind of like the phoenix from the ashes right now and we have to reinvent ourselves and what it is that's meaningful and what not. And the reality is that when an AI agent can do what a person does, that person is not going to be motivated to be in the organization anyway. So they have to kind of think long and hard, like what really makes them passionate and why they're excited to show up to work and why they have that path in the first place. Like, what are they hoping to solve? And it's a difficult philosophical questions for many of us. With AI agents, the context window right now is short, so it can only do like basic stuff. Yet I see how the more I play with it, the more I understand its power and its strength. And I'm mostly optimistic on the type of things that it can do and how it can help us. And I want to be part of like making sure that these AI agents can help us all succeed in the long term in the ecosystem. It's like a very complex puzzle, but my mind is prepared for it.
Yeah, it really is. Like, I think a lot of business owners and, businesses have had a hard enough time kind of going through the digital transformation, but now we're way beyond that. Now it's the AI transformation and they're trying to look for ways to, keep up with their competitors and, innovate and stay relevant. So it can feel certainly, a lot, pretty overwhelming. But like you said, for, just the average human, like we've gone through revolutions before, whether it was industrial or digital or whatever. Like there's always been a period in history where everything changed, and it's really just incumbent upon each one of us to, develop new skills and figure it out. So
it's fascinating because in my case, AI agents is all I can think about, and like the systems of agents and how agents work with agents, and like the management of agents. I can't even watch movies anymore. I can't even peacefully listen to music or read books because like that's what absorbs my mind all the time. And I speak to people that do that for a living on a constant basis. And yet I feel so behind. I feel like extremely behind. Like I would never call myself an expert of anything. And it's like a very humbling place to be. It's a very humbling place to be.
Yeah, no, I agree with you completely. I'm not a technical mind. I'm more on the creative, marketing side of things. So my brain understands outbound. Like I can build outbound workflows like just as good as anybody. But when it comes to building these agents, like for me, 2 things. I think use cases, it's helpful to see what are other people building and what are they doing, and then I can kind of get like some inspiration from them. And then the second thing is I just think through, I take a step back and I, as I go through my day, I'm thinking of like where are the bottlenecks? Like what do I find myself doing over and over and over again that I can just build the system, right? The infrastructure, and then let AI do it. But then probably the third thing is, things that are on my to-do list that I haven't gotten to. For me, it was having a podcast. Like having a podcast is a lot of work. It's ironic I'm actually doing one right now, but having a podcast is a lot of work. And so I thought, well, I'm in meetings every day. I'm in Zooms. I can repurpose my Zooms for really good LinkedIn content because it's authentic conversation. But why can't I repurpose my meetings and turn them into a podcast? And so I was actually, I didn't do this last time with with Keith, but I'm going to share, just give you a sneak peek. I'm just going to give you a sneak peek, and I want to
Okay,
hear about.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah, so check this out. This is a beast of a system right here. It's so much fun. So I'm going to show you this. Yeah, I'm like you. Like I do the same thing all day. I'm like thinking about agents and like what can I build and what are other people building. So this is really fun. So I took the first step is a Telegram trigger. So I use Telegram as the interface, and I've got this thing called the Podcast Maker bot. I think I'm going to call him Potty. And so I could tell Potty like, hey, and let me look at my meetings. So I might go to, any of my meetings. Let's say yesterday. Let's go yesterday. I had this meeting with me and Jesse. So Matt and Jesse. And I can say, take my meeting, Matt, Jesse, and turn it into a podcast. And it should be able, so I tapped into my Fireflies, and it'll go through and just like read all my Fireflies meetings and everything, find that meeting, and then it pushes it over to, let's see the workflow. So it'll push it over to, so there's a couple different agents. What it wants to do is it'll take the transcript from the meeting, and then essentially what it's supposed to do is take the transcript and then identify the topics, and then it'll do some research. So I knew my conversations are good, but I want them to be, in order for it to be podcast ready, there has to be a deep level of research and information to make the script for the podcast better. And so there's a research step, and then it'll take the research and produce a script, which it should do here momentarily, but it'll produce a script and say, hey, here you go. Like, here's the script for your podcast. Does this look good? And then yes, thumbs up. And then it'll take that over to 11 Labs, and 11 Labs it'll read and record the script, of course, and then spit out back over to me here in Telegram. It'll spit out the podcast. And then the other thing I wanted to do was I wanted to be able to take any YouTube video and just give it to my bot, and it'll pull the transcript, listen to it, look for ways to personalize it in my voice and all that stuff. And listen to this. Hey everyone, Matt here. I just watched a super insightful video featuring Sam Parr from The Hustle, along with Alex Lieberman and Austin Reef, the brains behind Morning Brew. It was packed with some really valuable lessons about the rise in business of modern.
Hey, so let's take a second and talk about CRMs and software tools. There's so many different tools in the market today that you could use to grow your business, to market your business, and to manage all of your sales and contacts and conversations and stuff. But after a few years of being in marketing full-time and running my company and advising all kinds of clients, I quickly realized that there's a gap in the market for a true all-in-one CRM platform that's also built for helping you grow your LinkedIn network and doing what we would call outbound marketing campaigns. So I decided to go ahead and build one that solved that problem. An all-in-one best-in-class CRM platform with all of your forms, your funnels, your landing pages, your contacts, opportunity pipeline, billing, ad management, reputation management, all the AI agents and tools in there. Plus it comes with almost 800 million contacts in the platform already. So you don't need to go and bring your own list. You can come into LeadStorm and build a list, filter, target, enrich, and get phone numbers, emails, contact information for hundreds of millions of people right inside the platform. And you can also use LeadStorm to grow your LinkedIn platform. So if you're a consultant, a coach, an author, a speaker, a founder, an entrepreneur, you're leading a SaaS company, it even works for sports teams. I've worked with the Bulls, Warriors, Nets, Pacers, Spurs, New Jersey Devils. If you're looking to build a relationship first business, this is the platform for you. Don't settle for anything less. I meet guys all the time, whether they're in financial services or any of the other industries that I mentioned. They're using MailChimp, Pipedrive, Calendly, maybe they're using ClickFunnels and all this other tech. Throw it all away. You got one platform that does it all. So you get a 10-day free trial when you sign up for LeadStorm. And within those 10 days, we're actually even going to get a full campaign built for you completely free. You're going to be starting conversations and getting meetings before you even spend a dime. That's my promise. So go ahead and sign up for leadstorm.ai. I'll see you on the onboarding. If you decide to sign up, me personally, I'll be involved in building out your campaigns on LeadStorm. We've got a great support team that'll also be a part of that. And man, it is going to be a world of difference. You literally have nothing to lose. I'm not trying to sell you anything that I don't believe will truly transform your business. So leadstorm.ai, go ahead and get the pro plan. That's going to get you all the best features in the platform, including video personalization, again, all of the AI tech, the data, the LinkedIn growth tools, everything right out of the box. I built it for me because I knew there'd be people like you that would also benefit from it too. So get that free trial and I'll see you guys on the onboarding call.
I'm sure there's like people out there that are like, Matt, what are you doing? That's not even you, bro. Like, I have serious issues with the fact that you are pretending to listen to YouTube videos and give a review off of that video. And I'm like, fair enough. That's okay. But listen, again, either you beat them or you join them. Like, I'm looking for ways to stay ahead. So yeah. So the next thing I'm going to do with this, and I'll shut up about this, but today we're finalizing the script, and you can hear like, there's like the pause, there's like the click, like it sounds very natural.
Sounds like you, yeah.
It sounds like me. And I tried to put a haha in there for humor, but AI like laughter is horrible. It can't laugh. And so I was like, no, we need to cut that out. But on the other end,
I'm sure you can add it from a pre-recorded track or something.
This is true.
Yeah.
Maybe I can do that. I'll have to look into that. But yeah, no, the last thing I'll finish up is like final check yes, and then it'll publish it for distribution on like Spotify, iTunes, and all that stuff. So anyways, yeah, like you look at agents, you're like, well, anything you think of, you can literally build it, and the output is like 10x. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to give you my reactions because that's who I am, unfiltered, whatever came through my head.
Tell me.
One, I know a guy called George, and I'm gonna introduce you after this. He has built an entire CRM on top of Telegram, and he's crushing it with like a super like niche kind of segment. This use case might be so much fun for him, and he can like maybe make it part of his audience. So that's like the first thing that came to my mind. Second, there's a creativity that happens when you start playing with the tools and you start realizing like the kind of orchestration that you can make happen. And once you get the hang on it, like once you get started, there you start seeing like so many beautiful things that you can create to have fun. And I also the thing that I struggle with is that I have all this creativity and there are all these use cases, and yet that last mile, the one where somebody's pretending to be something, that's something that I have a lot of issues with. And I was telling you earlier before we started recording that like I could never automate my LinkedIn because I have so many relationships that I've been built, and me sending like a fake email or fake voice like that makes me feel so heartbroken that I would do that myself. That's just for me.
Yeah.
Yet I think that there's an opportunity on certain things where it's okay to be a little bit generic. And I'll give you an example, and that's like the use case that we can go through today, where you still want to warm the account, you still want to get them close to the buying cycle, but you can do that in an authentic way without having to fake the relationship. So the way I'm thinking is that once you get because you're an expert at outbound, and once somebody gets through and you have that initial conversation with someone in the buying group, the most difficult thing, especially if it's a high ticket, so I don't know, like 30K and above AR or like 30K contract value, the hardest thing is to get your champion or whomever get on the call in a position where you've built trust and they can move the organization to change. The biggest obstacle, people think, oh, it's a competitor, or it's like, no, your biggest competitor is not equipping the champion to actually move the needle and close the deal, because it's so difficult to make a decision as a group. There's so much risk associated with it. You can get fired, you can go on the wrong toes, and like internal transformation is very difficult. And as a salesperson, the most important thing is the ability to build trust. And then you can create the engine around it where the buying group kind of moves easier to the process by understanding what's valuable for them. So number one, where I think that AI kind of like plays nicely is as soon as somebody opens up in the funnel, you identify the buying group and you make sure that they get nurtured. And the nurture can happen in a way that's authentic through advertising, because it's so rare that you do advertising for when you have like an open up, yet an advert feels authentic because it's not like a personal thing from Matt, pretending to do something, but it could be something that says, well, for, I don't know, let's say that you're selling to Dell, Leadstorm and Dell, you can do this increases in this particular use case and in this particular use case. And that's so beautiful to personalize with AI. You can do this kind of like one-on-one personalization with the ads. And because it's an ad, it's not a person, then it's fine.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like so important that we keep our humanity and we don't pretend to be who we are not, because you lose trust. And trust is the most important thing that we have. I think that's like something that's overlooked, and it's going to get difficult otherwise.
Yeah. Let me unpack a couple things. How are you identifying the buying group number one? Are you asking them? Are you doing research? Like, how are you identifying that?
So there are different levels of how you can do this. Level 1, where you need 0 tools, is you export from your CRM open ops every month. You do that on a recurring basis. You look at your accounts, and then on LinkedIn, for instance, you can upload the list of accounts and your target personas. It's a manual hour that you have to spend every month, but it's kind of beautiful and when well done. It's a bit generic because it doesn't say Dell and Leadstorm. It just says here's how Leadstorm can do this to your organization, and it's not specific to the persona, but it's doable and somewhat useful. The next level that you can do is with a tool like yours or with Clay or something different. You can identify the people in the deal and segment them a little bit so that you have, well, this is like the ops persona, and maybe you have like identification directly, and you get a little bit more specific with the value that they get for their specific role. And the third level that's more advanced, that I'm looking to do right now with agents based on all sorts of triggers and all sorts of smart campaigns, is to, every time an open op gets created, you start doing nurture from multiple vantage points. So you can get a partner to reach out and say in a Slack channel and say, hey, this deal has opened up. You're also working on it. They're also a customer. Can you please give me some intel? Or you can start sending messages from the exec team. So, hey, this opened up. Alina, reach out to the CMO or reach out to the CRO, see what's holding up, what they could need help on, and like as they're evaluating things. That's something for like even higher ticket. And then for the personalization of ads, you can also get a lot more detailed once you identify the accounts, the seniority, different other signals and messaging from your gone calls, etc. You can get a lot more precise.
Yep.
But it's beautiful that it can be done even with like no tooling.
Yeah. And when you're adding them to an ad campaign, for instance, which I agree. I mean, obviously, like you would treat like direct one-to-one messaging different than, that's the beauty of ads. And if you're not doing that, like I've learned over the years, like, outbound is great. Top of funnel is great. There are some use cases for like middle of funnel nurturing through outbound. But I mean, ultimately, like that ad campaign is so critical for, like you said, building trust and credibility and staying top of mind and relevancy. How are you adding those meetings into, like, say, an ad campaign?
How to trigger that?
Yeah, how are you triggering that? Yeah.
So the way we're doing it right now ourselves is to Snowflake and High Touch, and that's kind of like the flow. What I'm looking now to build is directly into our platform, because I can get a lot more granular with the use cases and with the actions and with like the messaging on the ICP. But right now we're doing it directly with High Touch and Snowflake.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. And this is the concept of, we were kind of talking before this call on multi-threading, right? And I've been in sales for quite a while, but I don't think that's one I see on a LinkedIn post. I don't see that in my LinkedIn feed very often. Unpack that concept a little bit more.
I think it's a critical step in the buying process. If you have an AR above, I don't know, maybe like 7K or so.
Yep.
Like an ACP, sorry, and an average contract value of 7K, and your business is targeting a buying group as opposed to just like one decision maker. And the reason for that, and that's how we spend a lot of our internal training and money, and a lot of our direction, is to understand that in this economy, for the buying group to make a decision is a lot more difficult. They get bombarded by a lot of tools, they get bombarded by a lot of news, and making a purchase feels a difficult decision. Should I build internally these agents? Should I buy another tool? And if you're not present with the group and moving the group, what I call multi-threading from different angles, the deal cycle is going to get stuck. Like I see so many sales team that are getting so much lower conversions for their even on their open ops. And that's one of the main reasons, is that they fail two things. They fail building the trust with the buyer to make them feel in good hands that they can move through the process of change. And second, that they're always going to have people that are going to stop the deal if you don't approach it from so many angles. And you need at least like several partners and communities and champions to kind of help move the deal forward, because then it's confirmation from multiple sources that this is the right decision to make. That's why I'm so bullish on partner, ecosystem, communities, events, and all the things that could help things. Last quarter, we had 180% of our quota. And I truly believe that that's like the main reason why we managed to do that, because it's so difficult to build trust, and it's so difficult to like multi-thread a deal. And yet that's what humans are really good at, is the hard things. And the more time we spend with the hard things, the better humans we become. So I'm really pumped that we're getting back to the basics, how to, form a connection with a person on a call as a salesperson. And like, those are the basics, but it's beautiful that we're getting back to it.
Yeah, I agree. AI can replace only so much, right? Like the human experience, it can't replace, it can't have kids, it can't get married, it can't, lose a job. Like, that human experience is so important. And I agree with you. And that's why I think you've seen so much traction. And I mean, it's easy. I think it's easy to feel, you do such a good job of making people feel like there is that personal relationship with you through your content, because you just are so authentic and transparent. And so, yeah, I would totally agree. Like if you're looking, what does the next few years hold with, AI now being a part of everyday conversations? I mean, for you, it should be that human experience. What are you doing to build a community? Are you on stage? Are you speaking? Are you doing this? Like, are you sharing, your wins and losses? I think you had a post where it talked about, I think it was one of your recent posts where you're like, I'm excited for all the AI content because, I think this was your last, was that this morning when you posted that? Yeah. Why, I'm curious, like, why are you excited for AI content?
Because it reminds us that everything that we see on social media is an illusion, and all these people kind of posting their AI perfect skin and their AI perfect videos. We're going to not trust them anymore. We're all going to think that they're fake. And showing up with flaws is extremely difficult. And while I'm saying that building trust is the most important thing in sales, the second most important is the ability to show up authentically as you, like with fears, with concerns, with joy, with excitement, because that's how you resonate with people, and that's how they know that you're not a bot. And it's extremely difficult. Like, it took me so many years and so much therapy to show up as I am. It's so hard when you're dissected in public, when people like see you with your flaws. And, I was having like a few weeks ago a panic attack, and I was like at a conference, and I just told like, guys, I'm having a panic attack. I'm going to go buy a vaping device. I'm going to vape, and then I can get back to you. And showing that as a leader, like in public, and it's extremely uncomfortable for most people. It's still uncomfortable for me, but I have a very good therapist, so I'm progressing.
Is he taking new patients? Does he ever want to get?
I'll ask her. She's in
maybe
France.
you can make that intro for me later. I could certainly use another one.
We all have things to deal with, our own issues, and that's the beauty of being human. We don't have to pretend that we're picture perfect on our feeds. We can just show up as we are, but it takes so much courage, and it's so difficult.
Yeah, I think you're right though. Yeah, it's almost like AI is kind of forcing us to go into the uncomfortable places that we maybe have been avoiding because we didn't need to. But now, because like in a couple short years, like everything that, I mean, I would say probably, 80% probably what we see on social media is going to be flawless, picture perfect, and if you think that that's the way that you're going to grow a brand, going forward, you're competing against like infinitely perfect, brains of these like supercomputers. They're going to beat you.
I already see the thumbnail of your video, how panic attacks can beat AI bots.
Yes, that's it. That's it. That's what I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna name this episode that. Actually, that's a great book title. That's a really good book title. Yeah. Actually, your next keynote at SaaS Talk, like that should be your talk.
That's what I'm gonna talk about. Yeah.
Yeah. How panic attacks made me a billionaire.
DM below, comment. I'll listen to my framework.
Yeah. DM the words hot mess, and I'll send it to you.
I'm hacking growth with my panic attacks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my panic attacks made me rich. Wait, what? My gosh, I wouldn't want to build a community around that. That would be like, actually, that'd be very entertaining. That's Netflix worthy. I mean, that's a Netflix series.
Yeah, this took a very weird turn.
This was fun. This is what I was hoping would happen. That is really fun. Listen, I want to share my screen. I want to show you something. Because
okay, show me.
This is what I'm seeing. Like, and It's wild. I still like, I see this stuff in my feed and I'm like, I kind of get a little envy if I'm honest. Like I look at stuff like this and
Can you
okay,
describe
so look at this video.
It's
what
so creepy.
how much time it normally takes and
The
costs?
guy is clearly AI.
You,
So I was watching this in my car while I was driving, but we're not going to talk about that. But I was watching this in my car. I drive a Tesla, don't worry. It drives itself. But I was watching this and it took me like a couple minutes. I'm like watching the video because I was into the content. Like I was searching for, you know, videos on Bubble and stuff like no code. And then this video
Mm,
popped up. Right. So I was
mm,
focused on the content. I wasn't focused on, is this real? But so,
mm.
and because that was my focus and how I showed up to the video, I didn't even think about it. And it didn't initially stand out to me that this was AI. But, you know, I kind of look at this guy and now I get the game. Like I know exactly what he's doing and I know what tools he's
Mm,
using.
mm,
So, you know, would you say, and everybody can have an opinion, right? Like this is the world we
mm.
live in. I'm just curious, like, what's your opinion? Is this good? Is this bad? Like, would you do this or would you not?
It's super interesting because in the past years or so, I realized that one of the best drivers that we will have, because everything is so fake, is our intuition.
Yeah.
And honing into that intuition and our emotional resonance to be able to tell an robot from a human, it's going to be such an important skill. So for me, I immediately it's like that guy has no emotion in his
Yeah.
eyes. Like for sure he's a bot, but I like it was like not even a doubt in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's like my first reaction to it. The second reaction is that I could see that, for instance, I might create myself some videos that are product, where I'm taking a product and I'm explaining certain workflows, and that like a face of myself that kind of like walks through the process. I could see that I
Yep.
could generate something like that to make it easier for myself to not have to record, and like drives me banana
Totally.
to re-record and re-record. Yet I would say, this is AI generated. It was my avatar. It's not me. If you want to talk to
Yeah.
me, the real person, this is a way. So I would always flag it. This is AI generated, just an AI
Yeah.
avatar. Don't take it, don't like, this is what I've done it and this is why I've done it. Explain to,
Yeah.
and have like a disclaimer there. I think that if
Yeah.
there's a disclaimer, then it's completely fine.
Yeah. Like now you can see, like, obviously this is, you know, this is him. Actually, maybe it's not. I don't even know. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, no, I agree with you. Like, yeah, you should on the front end. And I've been telling people that too with AI voice, you know, because one of the first like easy use cases to plug in AI into every business is your phone system. I
Mm,
hate getting answering machines and I
mm,
hate getting the automated touch dial, you know, answering. I hate those. Like I think every business should have like an inbound AI phone system. Like I call
mm,
in, at least I want to talk to AI. Like maybe I can't get to a human right away, which I'm always the guy that's pushing zero, you know, like you gotta
mm.
get me to a human as fast as possible. But, you know, for businesses, like that's, you know, that's an easy one. But you say, you know, like, hey, this is Mary. I'm an AI assistant for company name. I'm going to do my best to help you. So I think it's incumbent on us. Like, yeah, you got to put it out there and tell people. Like, and we're doing each other a favor. Like, please don't try and fool anybody. Like, don't try and fool me. But I can understand, like, you know, if you want to use those tools, like, I get it. We're all busy. So now you can do things that you couldn't before just because AI, you know, can get you there faster and easier, you know.
It's a fascinating topic. In my case, we know that just from an email address, we can get someone to a human right away because we know which human could talk to them based on their qualification criteria, etc. Like that's all you need is a business address and you know everything about them.
Yeah.
So there's like no requirement to ask any other questions to qualify to kind of like that inbound SDR AI is kind of unnecessary because of that. And
Right.
yet we have in beta right now our conversational AI, inbound AI, and all voice generated. And the reason why we haven't released it yet, even though there are competitors that have it available as well, is because so we took a lot of time to go through the transformers and to the LLMs and making sure that the robot can stay with the prospect and then like help them into the journey. But yet it's so critical to understand like the subtleties of it. Because if you want to talk to a human and you keep pressing zero and you have like a bad experience, the brand, like the relationship with the brand is lost. And that is so important. All these touch points, the trust, getting back to trust.
Yes.
And that's why we're like going to test the hell out of it before it goes out live to anyone.
Totally. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't take very much to burn a bridge.
It doesn't. Even like with ChatGPT, you know, you use like you need so many artifacts to make sure that you can triple check the sources and all of that because you can't mess up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's so good. Well, awesome. This was such a good conversation, and a ton of fun. Thank you for joining me. Is there anything that's coming up for you this year that's really exciting that maybe people should be aware of, or who might reach out to you?
I'm really excited to see that you have so much joy in building these workflows. I get a lot of joy from it as well. So I'm really interested to have all sorts of conversations around this topic. And it's myself on LinkedIn. I post all my comments. I post on my posts. So any conversation around this, I love to have, because I think we're a lot better together if we learn from each other and we learn from each other's mistakes, and keeping an open and honest dialogue, I think, is going to get us there.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yep. And I think one thing, like, from this episode that I'm going to take away is I really enjoyed seeing your kind of reaction to my system that I built. And to you guys that are following me, I'm going to make you a promise. Like, every time I do these, I'm going to show up with a new workflow and new agents. And I want to get your feedback on a scale of 1 to 10. Would you rate it 1, or is it like -1, or is it like a 10? So based on this one and what you saw, how would you rate my AI? How would you rate my AI on a scale of 1 to 10?
That's called a good call to action.
Yeah. Do you think my podcast AI is a 1, or is it a 10?
Your podcast AI, I think that some idea from it is interesting, but that final fake math, I'm not in favor of it. So 10 on some stuff and 0 on some other stuff.
Okay, perfect. I can take the feedback. It's all good.
And me, I can't help but showing up with my real authentic self. Yeah.
No, that's what I want. But this is really me. So, maybe that makes up for it. This is the real Matt.
Yeah, we're
But-
flawed in this video. We're flawed.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Alina. You're awesome, and love what you guys are doing at Chili Piper. I'm a huge fan, and always will be, because of you and your husband. You guys are rock stars, and I love what you're doing. So,
The pleasure was all
all right.
mine. Thank you for having me.
Go. Keep building podcasts with Matt Cressman. Building authority, LinkedIn's my strategy. I be overseas, closing deals with ease. Network growth's the key. You can only be you, can't replicate my view. Scale your revenue, pipeline breaking through. Success is all I see. Keep building.